Hello, hello, hello. Today we are rolling out with Alvin Garrett. It seems like you're a hopeless romantic. I'm not sure, but a decade ago, 1 decade ago, you was gonna walk on by yourself. That was 10 years ago. You was like, you know what? I'm walking, but in the beginning of the song, I'm gonna break down these lyrics. You said in the beginning of the song that you've been rejected way too many times, and you
Mm.
said, I'm not gonna accept no for an answer. So I was like, he's giving me real stalker. And then you turned around and said, you know what? Bump all of that. I'm just gonna walk on by myself, like, period. I don't have time. No, I'm done. I'm done.
Mm.
Right. So I'm like, and then you was like, 7 months ago, you said if you stay home, ain't nothing gonna change. Everything gonna be the same. You ain't gonna have nobody to blame. So go on and stay home if you want to. But now, fast forward 2025, it's a new you, and they giving you life. Now
Mm.
we talked about three different women. Like
How?
we just gonna keep this real. Our three different people. Like I want you to break it down to me. Like I'm your best friend from college, and we just found each other at the Starbucks, and you like, baby,
I'm gonna break it down for you.
break it down.
I'm a Southern
Say it
boy,
loud for the people in the back.
and you must be a cherry farmer because you have picked these cherries very, very well. And the song by myself ain't even talking about no girl. But the way you just laid it out, I was like,
Right.
If I was talking about a girl, then yes, those would be stalker vibes. But
Okay.
if I'm talking about my purpose in life, and I'm saying, hey, I've been rejected because I'm trying to become somebody special out here with my music, and
Okay.
the labels turned their back on me. Friends might have turned their back on me, but I ain't gonna give up on my dreams.
Right.
Now that makes a lot more sense. But if I was talking about a girl, I'm with you on the stalker
Okay.
vibes. I'm with you if that was what the song was about.
Right.
But that's not what it was about.
I had a feeling you was making personal application and talking to yourself.
There you go. That's what it
But
was.
I felt like you might have been using that as an excuse because you really was talking about a girl or a person.
Now, if you ask my personal opinion,
Hmm.
if I was talking about a girl, if you ain't rocking with me for real, you ain't ride or die, then I'm better off by myself. So it is applicable. So kudos to you.
Yes.
It
Okay.
is, it is
But you
applicable. Now,
like take away with it what you need to move forward. Whatever your takeaway is,
take it
just
away.
move forward. That's the end goal.
And if you stay home, that song was just me putting something out there talking about if you don't go vote, right? So if you stay
Mm.
home, nothing's gonna change. So this was around election season, and I
Okay.
wrote that song about how people pretty much are overtaken with apathy and just decide
Right.
it ain't got nothing to do with me. So
Right.
that song, if we talking about what it's really about, it's
Okay.
about folks that sat at the crib because they didn't feel like a woman could run this thing.
And just sit back and reflect.
So did you say that you ain't got nobody you can think of that ever made you feel like that song? Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I have, but I've been rejected too many times. I'm not even
So,
gonna put myself in that situation to
so
think
you by
what
yourself?
could have been, what should have been. Okay, it's just me and God and Jesus. We just rolling together, the three of us.
So my music is helping to curate some dreams right now. So this you give me
No,
life.
you know what? For about 4 minutes and 20 seconds, I felt like I believed in love again. I listened to that song and I was like, love does exist. It just gave me that warm, fuzzy feeling. And then I had to slap myself. Like, no, 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 no. We talk about the real world. He gonna let you down. He gonna this. See, I just went all over here. I had to snap out of it. But I was just real like, okay, you give me life. Like, yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
loved it. I loved what you were saying. But I was like, okay, did it have to take a car accident? Did it have to take me to lose my life for you to just now be up pawing all over me, giving me the life I need you to give me when I was feeling good. See, I went back into sister girl mode immediately.
Ah, come on now. I feel like me and you gonna have us some R&B group therapy, man. Me and you.
We need some R&B. You know, that's a good name for a podcast.
Yeah, some R&B group therapy. That is the basis of this single, You Give Me Life, which
Yes.
is a single from my new album that's gonna be dropping later in the fall
Okay.
called Talk to Her Like This. Talk to
That's
her
all
like
we want. That's
so
all.
you write down my wheelhouse, R&B music that speaks to women in a
Yes.
way that makes them feel good about themselves and makes and gives men a playbook of how they should be speaking to women. And if you really look back at R&B music, back
Right.
in the heyday, it built people up. It made you want to make babies and want to be close, not fight each other. And so I'm not knocking anybody else in
Right.
their journey with this music thing. I'm just talking about my personal convictions and about my artistry. I
Right.
want music that when the woman listens to it, she's like, "Ooh, he talking about me," not
Yes.
talking about a room full of women. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
there's music for that. You
Not
a
talking about the strippers.
right, and there's music for that. I'm not tripping because, like I said, I ain't knocking nobody else.
Right. You giving me life. It was giving me life.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The way you feel alive. You're not just existing, not just going through the motion, not just, taking it day by day, but somebody that's giving you, inspiration that actually listens to you talk about your dreams. You know what I mean? And we don't talk enough about that part of relationships and intimacy is are you listening to a person's hopes and aspirations
Right.
and nurturing that part of them? You know what I'm saying? Not just how good they look, not just what we're gonna go and what we're gonna do, but who
Right.
you trying to become, right?
Right.
That's life comes through our dreams and aspirations. And so too few people connect on that level.
Do you think it's because of fear? Like you're afraid that you guys won't be on the same page, so you want to just lock him in while he didn't discover that you was over here and he was over there? Because that's a
I think
simple
a lot of
question.
it is due to, I think it's laziness, right? Because so much it's laziness because it's so easy to be like, I'm a handsome dude. So if I was superficial, the easiest thing to do is just go bag them, right? Just knock them back. But the harder thing to do is to dig, to get to
Right.
know that human being for who they are in their spirit and go the next level. That requires work, that requires patience, and most people they just don't have that.
Right. So we're looking for a man, a provider. And now these women, we got our own money, we got our own house, we have our own car. So it's
Yep.
like, you can't take nothing away from me. So I'm listening to you. Why? Oh, love.
And maybe that's the issue. You might have just nailed it. Is why is it so difficult for people to connect on a deeper level? Because there's no requirement there. Like, hey, if I'm gonna define myself as a woman,
Right.
that I don't need another human being in my life in this way, that there's no space for intimacy because I've achieved a certain level of success, then now you're missing out on the purposeful relationship in the first place, which transcends just providing. So if you got a lot of money, if you driving nice cars, if you a boss B and you got it going on, there's still something you need, right? Have a lot of superficial engagement. And if that's cool for you, then great. But like you say, you asked the question, why is it so difficult for people to connect on the level of aspirations and dreams?
Right.
Because they feel that success or attaining things is the end game, and that's not.
Your song, You Give Me Life, didn't even make me think about any of that. It just seems
Mm.
so genuine.
And when you're from the South and you go to New York or you go to LA and you smile and you say, "Hey, how you doing? What you speaking for? I don't know you.
Yeah. My
Why
friend
you?"
was like, stop smiling at folks.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
I'm not surprised that your music has been Grammy nominated. And how did that feel? How did that feel when you got that phone call?
It was number one surprising, and actually it was for gospel music that I wrote. So, being an R&B artist, I'm a preacher's kid, so I still write gospel music
Of
for other people.
course.
And so it was shocking, but once it settled in, I was like, oh boy, I can't be whack at nothing else from this point forward. Like, because
No,
everybody gonna be
no,
Grammy nominated.
no, no. They doing it all over there.
Yeah, they like Grammy nominated. You know, so it kind of raised the bar and like put a lot of pressure on me that okay, I can't do anything that's going to make it look like I'm riding the title. I got to earn it and deserve it. And so it
Yeah,
really puts
you did
me,
earn it and you
yeah,
deserved it.
exactly.
So
But
now
it's
you're
still
like, I'm about
pressure.
to turn everything up a notch.
Yeah, yeah. But you get a lot of people who say that same thing as I've talked to other people that are Grammy nominated, and they just like, yo, the pressure turns up because you got to live up to it. Because the expectations change if you say I'm Grammy nominated.
The fact that you got that recognition, you did turn up. You
That's
turned
right.
up in your music, you turned up in everything, and you probably didn't even understand how it was on a higher level because this is how you serve the community. This is how you serve what you do, and this is how
Yep.
much passion that you were putting into your project that you're like, wow. You're not
Yeah.
related to Sean Garrett, are you?
You know what? I'm gonna meet him one day and we're gonna do that little what is it, that ancestor thing. I'm gonna figure out because
Yeah,
I
no, he was a client of mine for 6 years.
we might be cousins.
I was
I'm
his
not even say we
publicist.
cousins. Yeah, we could. That's
And
my
I know his dad was like, he was an army military kid. So they traveled all around the world. So, and he started in South Carolina, I think.
I always when I meet Garrett's, because there's not a lot of Garrett's out there, I
Right.
always say we cousins. Okay, let's just call it.
Y'all have some similar features though. I'm
Yeah,
so understanding.
I was wondering that in my earlier career, you know what I'm saying, when he was moving around, I was like, I wonder if we cousins.
Love how you're singing what's on your mind and it's about love. And then you say, you can't not be a gospel artist to a certain extent.
Mhm.
And we show that we are imitation of Christ by love.
That's
And
right.
you're always talking about love, even if it's, and you're realizing, hey, I gotta love myself more than sitting in the house looking around. Like this ain't living. I'm surviving. I'm not living
That's right.
to
That's
live
right.
my life. So I did love every song was a message and storytelling always wins.
Yeah, yeah. Well, listen, I
Yeah.
am greatly appreciative of you taking your time from the hip hop world to dive into the Southern Alabama boys' music.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it's
I
wonderful
break
to
it on
find
down,
out.
break it on down. I'm like, let me see what he talking about.
Yes. So it gave you some life. That's what
It
I'm talking.
did, it did. The women always give me amazing female empowerment. But with
Yeah.
the man, when he says it, it's like, is he talking about me? Little on me? Tell me about my eyes again.
Like, tell me more about
I don't know.
my
It's just
eyes.
something about a love song that makes you feel all giddy inside. And
Yeah.
that's the feeling that I got. And it's been a while since I heard a new R&B song that gave me
Mm,
a giddy feeling. The
wow.
old ones, yes, but the new ones, not so much.
Listen, listen, and you say that, you tell people that's what you're gonna get from Alvin Garrett.
Yes,
I'm saying I'm not new to the game.
right.
I am a modern day artist that's gonna give you those giddy vibes. You see what
Yes.
I'm saying? That make you feel like old school music.
I'm gonna
Because
see you in person at R&B Thursdays in Atlanta. I'm sure that's gonna happen very
yeah,
soon. Tangie, she be making it happen.
she does. She does. I will be there. As soon as y'all say, here's your opportunity,
All
young lady,
right.
I'll be there.
All right, we right down the road. All right,
Well,
have an amazing day. Thank you so much for giving me the interview.
same here. Thank you for your time.